Welcome to a new weekly wrap-up. I'm Jay, joined with S. Hi! And today we'll be walking through the art we made this week. Sadly, some of the footage we had for this week got accidentally deleted, but we've done our best to still show a recreation of the process as much as possible. So, to start things off, for day 22, the prompt was National Polka Dot Day. So, for this day, I wanted to incorporate as many dots as possible.
It kind of shows.
Yeah! And so, I also wanted to do sort of like a pointillism thing, but then I was also feeling kind of like, I was kind of lazy because I was like, I don't really want to dot every single dot.
That makes sense.
And also I feel like polka dots are more kind of like a uniform pattern.
Yeah.
And they're not just kind of haphazardly kind of put on. And so I decided to like overlay color on the dots as much as I could. And that's basically sort of the inspiration for what, like, the direction I wanted to put this piece in. But also, like, I think for polka dots themselves, usually they're pretty casual, or like sometimes they're even marketed for like kids or whatever.
Yeah, it kind of has that like youngish vibe.
Yeah, and so because of that, I decided to give Ray a very like casual pose, and yeah, because of that I also gave him the bubblegum because I felt like, you know, I thought the piece would be a little bit sort of like missing something without it, and it also adds to, you know, the casual vibe.
Yeah, I mean, what I really like about this piece of yours is that I really like the, I guess, whimsicality of it, like the whimsical look with the different colors and stuff like that. And Ray looks really relaxed. And what I also really like, as you mentioned, was the bubble gum that you drew, just because, like, you know, polka dots are circles and the bubble gum that you have is a circle, and so it fits really well with, you know, the rest of the piece, which is so circular.
I think for me also, like, this was an opportunity to sort of experiment, like, because I think other times, like, you know, whether I, you know, color with like a regular brush or I use my lasso fill or whatever, this was a chance to kind of go out of the box while also still showing off polka dot as much as I could.
So on to day 23, today's prompt was monochrome. And so when I had the monochrome prompt, I was like immediately, okay, I'm gonna do something in black and white because that's kind of what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Right? And I ended up searching up the definition of monochrome instead and found out that, you know, monochrome isn't just black and white. It can also be like different shades and tints and tones of the same color. And so looking at Google Images, almost everything was black and white. So I kind of like was like, well, there might be kind of like a social idea of what of what monochrome is. Versus what the actual literal definition is, right? And so I was like really settled on doing black and white, but then having this realization, I was like, this is a chance for me to do something monochrome with color,
right?
Which is what I ended up pivoting to instead. And so for this prompt, I chose Layla as the subject because her hair is black and white, and I was thinking of doing one just, you know, with her because of that. But once I decided to change my mind, I didn't change the subject just because I changed the color. And, you know, as I said, I was looking at kind of Google references, and a lot of these monochromatic, I guess, art pieces, pictures or whatnot, were kind of having these like kind of like wavy black and white shapes. I don't really know how to describe it.
Like really abstract.
Yeah, and so like kind of like a topography map. So I wanted to do something like that too. And the big thing for this one was that, or for this piece was that I wanted to make or take the chance to do something a little bit more quote unquote artistic or a little bit more abstract, because like, you know, the last few days we've been doing this challenge, our prompts have been a lot more literal, like whether it's like an action or like an object,
snow shoveling or whatever,
or,
for example,
or like a day to celebrate, whereas this one is more so like an art style or art theme, or you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so I thought, you know, good chance to make something interesting.
Yeah, very unique. First of all, I really love Layla's pose and the colors you chose.
Oh, thanks.
Because I also thought that it would be black and white.
Mm-hmm,
So when I saw you draw Layla, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But then when I saw your finished piece and it was blue, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Unexpected.
But, yeah, it was unexpected. But also like it made total sense, right? Because you know monochrome is like a, I guess, sort of single color, but the whole, I guess,
Different shades, different tones.
yeah, exactly. And also like your background I thought was really expressive and interesting. Very like, I don't know, it reminded me of like waves, but then like also like not, and also maybe because it was blue, so it kind of reminded me of like water.
Yeah. So like in terms of choosing what color to change it to, like from black and white, I did end up choosing blue because I was looking at those like artistic like wavy patterns like on Google Images, and I was like, oh, if I were to do something like that, kind of reminds me of water, so I'm like, okay, I think blue would be a good choice.
Yeah.
And also like, you know, Layla's eyes are blue, so I was thinking that it could make her eyes stand out as well.
Yeah, I think they really do, and I think that you definitely achieved it, because that's just kind of what I thought of when I saw it. I was like, oh, she kind of looks like she's sort of in a shallow pool.
Yeah. That's the kind of vibe that I was thinking of, and like that's kind of the reason why I have the dress, like even though it's kind of tight at the top, but it's very flowy at the bottom, because I kind of wanted to be kind of water-like. But also like I didn't want to distract people with, you know, feet or whatever, or just to distract people from like her, I guess, expression at her head area, and then also distract from the kind of waves at the side. So that's kind of how I went about it.
Alright, on to day 24. The day's prompt was Snow Angels. Originally, I thought the prompt was Snow Angel, singular, so
Really?
I was just going to draw Ray on his own. Yes, just doing a solo Snow Angel.
That's kind of sad.
It is. But then I saw the prompt like properly and saw that it was Snow Angels, so I opted to, you know, shift Ray around and then added Layla and Ash. But then because of this, I had to chop off Ray's legs and everybody else's legs. Although, I mean, you could still see a peek of Ash's, because otherwise they just wouldn't fit.
I think it worked out though, because I mean, just thinking about it, if you chop off the arms versus chopping off the legs, like imagine if you just saw the legs, like people would not be able to tell that's a snow angel.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you chop off the bottom, people still know what this is.
Yeah. And I figured that if people still got like the shape of the sort of snow angel wings, then like they would still understand what I'm trying to draw.
Yeah.
Despite it being so sort of compact.
Honestly, with this prompt, when I saw this on the prompt list, I honestly was not sure how you would make this look good, because I couldn't really put my head around it.
Yeah.
But honestly, you somehow did it. I think it really looks great. You can tell exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like making snow angels is kind of like, I don't know, I was kind of reminded of those people, you know how some people make like really elaborate, like, you know, snow, you know how some people like walk patterns in snow, and then they use like a drone to like, you know,
I don't know about the drone, but
no, they use a drone to like shoot footage.
Like the picture that they're making.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just decided to do a sort of like
overhead shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to say that I really liked this piece because of the overhead shot, and it's unique because, like, you know, the rest of our pictures so far have been mostly like, you know, everybody's kind of like sitting up or standing up or whatever. And this is one of the only ones that somebody's lying down. I mean, I know the last one that we just did monochrome, like Layla was lying down, but like it's not from this angle, right?
Yeah, in general, most of ours are like, you know,
right side
upright.
Yeah,
upright, and maybe they're standing or sitting
and
or
so
whatever.
I like this one because like you can't see the sky, which is very common in our things, but like you could, like, the background is the ground, you know?
And yeah, I think part of the, I guess, challenging thing was trying to make the snow angels look a little bit, how should I put it? Like, sort of, like they had moved snow, but still, like, keep it quite lightly colored because it is snow, right?
No, I can definitely see how that would be a bit of a, not just a issue or problem, but a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, and then otherwise, it was just a matter of clothing our characters, and of course, I went from most bundled up to least bundled up. So the most bundled up is, of course, Ash. As we've mentioned in one of our previous shorts and videos, Ash is from a really warm area, and so he's in his, you know, big, I guess, heavy coat with a hat and the hood up, making snow angels. Whereas Ray is in something a little bit more, I guess, normal. He's, of course, still dressed for the weather, but Layla, she's just in a vest and like a sweater or whatever, and she looks so happy to be in the snow. And yeah,
I mean, I really like their expressions in this piece, especially Layla. She looks like she's having so much fun. Not to say that Ash and Ray aren't having fun, but she looks like especially happy.
Yeah. And I think because of like the redness on their faces, like they seem kind of cold, but they're still
toasty.
Yeah, they're still having fun.
Now on to day 25, today's prompt was Wizard. And when starting this prompt, I really had a vision in mind to have Ray, being a wizard and like throwing some sort of like magic projectile with maybe like, Ash or Layla or whoever, like just kind of behind him, kind of like in a party, like an adventure party type of deal, right? But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? I feel like Ray has been in a lot of our pictures. I mean, it makes sense, he's our main character, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to give the spotlight to somebody else. So I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I'm like, okay, instead of magic projectile, what if I did like a fire projectile? And if I did a fire projectile, then obviously the most obvious answer for me would be Ruby, since she has fire abilities in our webcomic. And so I was like, okay, there she is. But then I guess I kind of came into the dilemma, kind of like I mentioned in the short, are like women wizards witches, or are they wizards?
Right,
I'm like, well, whatever, it's okay, she'll still be a wizard. But anyways, so while I was drawing her, I really liked to draw her. It was really fun, this one, because it was a chance to draw, I guess, because for these this challenge, we've been able to draw them in a bunch of like different types of clothing, but like most of it's still like normal everyday wear. But then this one was like the first divergence to like purely like fantasy, like and stuff. So I could draw her in classic wizard robes and capes and hats, and her staff was really fun to draw in color, and I had a lot of fun with this one.
I think she looks great. Honestly, this picture might be my favorite of the week.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so honestly, I love her outfit. Like you said, you had a lot of fun drawing it, and you can definitely see I really love her staff, and it gives a lot of very wizardy vibes. And I actually really like the choice of you turning her hair red, because I mean, of course, in our comic, when she uses her ability to manipulate fire, I mean, her hair goes from like a dark like black to a flaming red color, which looks really good. It's really eye-catching, and it makes you look at her immediately. And I mean, talk about eye-catching. For her flames, you could probably see it in the rough draft section of the photo, or of the speed paint, where I actually had the fire crossing her body. Yes.
And in the end, I turned it kind of upside down to not really cover her body, because I spent so much time drawing her robes and those things, I didn't want to cover it. But also, I initially wanted to kind of have like the staff have like beams of light coming out of it, but I didn't know if it would kind of be too much as well, and also be like, and take away from the fire in her other hand and whatnot, and like I said, distract from the rest of her outfit. But it was something I thought about.
I mean, I thought the choice to like change the direction of the fire was a good one, because like I did see your rough, and yes, it was completely like crossing her body.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was like, and also because like the clothes themselves would just be so like covered, like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But one last thing is that I noticed that her pendant and I guess the end of her hat, the tip of her hat,
The ornament thing.
yes, the ornament, both feature a 7-pointed star, which is a really nice touch because, of course, in Zenith to Infinity there are 7 main planets, and that is depicted in arc by a 7-pointed star.
Yeah. I mean, I was when trying to do these like I guess little accessories, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, have the dangling ornament on the hat or whatever, or even give her a pendant. The pendant was actually one of the last things, or possibly even the last thing that I drew, because
Right.
it was like imagine her without the pendant right now, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of empty.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's kind of boring. And like, okay, so then what kind of thing do I give her? Like, usually maybe wizards have like a magical tool or a magical whatever, but like she already has her
Right.
staff, so it's like, what other things can it? Okay, well then I guess some sort of magic pendant it is, right? And
yeah.
then so when I decide to deck out her hat, I decide to give her a pendant as well, and just gave them the same type of
Yeah.
look.
The ornament dangling on the hat sort of looks like the cutout from the pendant.
Yeah, it kind of does. I mean,
Yeah.
I think from what I remember, I drew that one first. And then, like I said, at the very end, I was like, okay, pendant needs something.
Right.
So then I just drew a circle. I'm like, okay, just a circle was kind of boring. All right, I'm making a 7-pointed star cutout.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it looks great. Alright, and on to day 26, the prompt was gym. So for this one, initially I wasn't really sure like what exercise whoever I was going to put in here was going to do. And so I knew I didn't want to draw things like lifting weights or like maybe lifting dumbbells or whatever. And so,
Like a bench press or something.
yeah. So I didn't really want to do that. And so I opted to choose Ray running on a treadmill because I was like, yeah, gyms have treadmills, like people do cardio and stuff all the time. And yeah, I wanted to make him sort of casually working out, like he's working up a bit of a sweat, but not working too hard, which is
Yeah. Like, he doesn't look like he's suffering or like,
Yeah,
I wish I
yeah.
wasn't here.
I mean, that's kind of my approach to, exercising on a treadmill. And yeah, so I tried to make him, work out casually.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like your use of 3D models, which you've been doing, with some other more sophisticated ones, like your bicycle prompt last
Right,
week.
yeah.
Because I mean, some things like the treadmill or like this whole rack of like barbells or whatever,
Yeah.
dumbbells or yeah. I don't know my gym stuff.
No, I don't either.
I think that it works out that you can use these types of models to help you, set up the scene and whatnot without, making it too difficult to draw.
Right, and I think sometimes it's just like if you want to draw it, you can, obviously. But sometimes for, like you said, really sophisticated things where maybe you're not trying to spend 10 hours
Or even like repetitive things, right?
yeah,
Like I said,
like drawing the dumbbells, for
yeah.
instance, right? Then I think that's where 3D models do kind of shine.
Yeah.
And I just happen to have some, gym equipment.
Training equipment, yeah.
3D models. So yeah, I just decided to use those. But yeah, one thing I did notice in hindsight after I had finished was that I had put the windows of this gym behind Ray. And
Oh.
yeah, normally, I don't think that's a huge problem, but I feel like when you're at a gym, normally, the treadmills and whatever are usually pointed towards the window.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
You're like running, looking outside.
Well, not just that, it's so that like I guess the corridor door that's behind the equipment is like more like inside the middle of the gym, so people can walk around to the other equipment.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
That's kind of my bad, but I don't think it hindered the picture too much by having the window behind. But yeah.
Now to wrap up my part of this week, for day 27, it was National Chocolate Cake Day, so I drew Ash with a slice of chocolate cake, which, you know, is pretty perfect for him since he has a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
So this picture wasn't hard to draw or anything, but like the pose I guess now looks a little bit odd just because he was initially supposed to wipe off a piece of like some crumbs or whatever from his face.
Oh, okay.
From the chocolate cake, but I was afraid because it was brown that it would look like he's wiping like dirt or like poop off his face.
Oh no!
So I was like, you know what? Maybe not. So now he kind of just maintains the same pose, but it is a little bit weird, like his hand movements, you know?
I mean, maybe you could have put some like mini crumbs and I think people would have understood, but I do also understand why you opted not to draw the crumbs. But
the hand was kind of hard to draw just because I was trying to do that pose, right? And in the end, when I didn't actually draw the crumbs, I'm like, man, wasted. But
I think it's also because he's also holding the fork in the same hand that he's supposed to be wiping the non-existent crumbs off of his face.
Yeah. Like to like kind of like just mimic the fork, I had to like hold a pencil as a kind of like reference. Just to make sure that it actually kind of worked. Yeah.
So yeah, actually, initially I was going to ask you, where the environment was, because at first I thought he was eating cake at home. But then I saw the sign behind him and it said chocolate cake, so like is he eating at like a cafe or?
Yeah. So initially, well, it was a bit more obvious before because I actually wrote menu chocolate cake, but then in the end I decided to blow up the text a bit more and moved, you know, menu off the screen, and so it's a cafe of some sort. I don't really know where and what it really looks like, but that's what it is.
And for our final prompts on day 28, it was all-nighter. And for this one, I definitely wanted to do Liam. He is our resident workaholic at ERA.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is really sad. And I basically wanted to make him look as exhausted as I could.
Oh yeah, he definitely looks like he has put in a lot of work.
He just looks so defeated.
He does.
And I think because like, especially for me, like whenever I have days when I can't sleep well or I'm lacking sleep, I'm just so tired the next day and I'm just like, this is what I want to convey. And so
that little bit like dead inside look.
Yeah. Like I'm awake, but I don't want to be. Right? And so I wanted to also show off some of the tech that we have in Zenith to Infinity. And so he is on his sort of holographic monitor. And just reading things. I'm not sure what he's reading.
Maybe
but
like a report or something.
Yeah, probably doing work.
That makes sense. He's a workaholic.
Yes, and you know, he has his mug of coffee or whatever, just like keeping him barely awake. And yeah, I mean, initially I had him yawning as one of the as the pose in my rough sketch, but then I decided to go for the whole sleep deprived look instead.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like I felt like because like he was going to be reading on the monitor, but then if I had him yawning plus the coffee, it just seemed like a bit much, and so I felt like him just having the coffee mug in his hand looking really sort of despondent at the screen would be enough to show his exhaustion.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I first saw this piece, I was like, poor Liam, oh my gosh, like he looks so like down and so tired and kind of upset. But you know, that's the part actually I really like the most about this piece, because you were able to convey his expressions so well.
Yeah.
The next thing I thought of was like, wow, like this area is so dark, like you're gonna hurt your eyes like doing work, like turn on the lights, man.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I think the dark atmosphere really helps to like I guess send it home, like what the actual like not meaning is, but like the kind of artistic vision that you were trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's like the difference between, or like the reality versus artistic side, like which part, not to say wins out, but which part ends up working a bit better for your piece. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, because I considered doing it like in a brightly lit room in the daytime and stuff, but for me, I was like, oh, like, you know, especially for all-nighters, you know, go through the whole night. And when I went to look at reference images, right, for all-nighter, I noticed that a lot of people, whether or not they were like on the computer or if they were like studying, it would be in a dark room, maybe with just like a lamp or the screen.
Right.
And so I was just trying to emulate that. But
kind of has a bit of like a moody atmosphere.
Yeah. And actually, initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put him in the office, or or have him at home, you know, with the blanket kind of covering him or whatever. And I opted for that instead because I just felt like having Liam sleep deprived in the office just seemed too sad.
The work-life balance is not there.
Non-existent. And so I was like, Liam, you get to be sleep deprived at home. It's not fun, but at least you're not in the office. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it for this week's weekly wrap-up from the both of us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. If you'd like to see more, you might be interested in last week's video too. See you there.